Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Awesomenauts Rumbles Double Tournament. It's me, Devmon, again, and I'm joined by Uberanzi to discuss what happened last game and also to have another game happen.
Wow, more video games.
That's right. For the low price of naught, you can enjoy video games as hosted by Mr. Pillow on this excellent tournament. So last game we just had Team Dave versus Team Playing to Die, and we had Team Dave take both matches, including the last match, where they copied Team Playing to Die's team and won with it instead, which was kind of the ultimate bad-mouthing, I'd have to say.
Really, the ultimate BM. But as you said before, with Pillow hosting this wonderful stream, we've actually got another thing to talk about, another announcement, a couple of them really, to talk about something that's coming back very soon that some of you guys might know about.
That would actually be the Scrim Show, if I recall correctly.
Indeed. We've got the Scrim Show coming back on... We actually have a set date for it, for when the first Scrim Show is going to be coming back. The revitalizing, the reliving of the great moments of the Scrim Show. The glorious Scrim Show. But on the 23rd of February, the first Scrim Show at noon Eastern, so 12 p.m. Eastern, will be happening, hosted by Mr. Pillow, but it is going to be hosted on, I believe, this channel that you are watching the stream on right now. And it'll be on the 23rd, noon Eastern. You can look it up to see what the time zone is for yourself if you're interested in watching, and it'll be the it'll be high-level scrims that are sent in by people. So if you think you're a high-level player and you end up playing another team full of high-level players, you can send in your scrims, I believe, and you will be able to have them seen on stream by tons of people. And if you make a mistake, people can laugh at you. So that's good.
Just remember, everybody loves you. And there's also the Scrim portal that is also available. Tell me a little bit about that, Uberanzi.
Well, either way, some people might know about the Scrim portal, and there are a couple of Scrim sort of groups, etc. on Steam, and even I know about them, and I'm not a huge competitive player, but I believe there's actually a Scrim portal Discord now, and there should be a Scrim portal Discord on the stream, or it should be a link on the stream or in the chat or something like that, where you will be able to join. You can find random people in order to find scrims, or you can look for other teams, and you can look for different formats of probably 2 bands or 3 bands. You can use Not Drafter, and it's a good idea. And if you want to get into drafting and like trying to play Awesomenauts a little more organized and a little more seriously, then this is a great way to get into it.
I would say so. And you know what? I'm currently in the Discord myself, and it's a great place to meet people. Actually, you can even go ask to form your own teams. You can decide to practice with other teams. It's a good place to be, honestly. And if you're interested in not playing Awesomenauts at all, I'd highly recommend it as an Awesomenauts caster and player.
Yeah, and by Awesomenauts he means competitive Awesomenauts. You should still play Awesomenauts.
Oh.
I don't think people who don't play Awesomenauts would join the group.
Even if you're not high level competitive, if you want to do something a little bit more casually, you can still meet a whole bunch of people and get tips and tricks. So
it's great for talking and just goofing around and talking about whatever you want, memes, whatever. Either way, we've talked about this long enough. We should now get into the next set of matches with Team Aesthetic versus Team Pewdiepie Fan Club.
Right. So this is the next set, as you said before, and we're going to expect to see different things. And I can tell you straight out, there's going to be a whole bunch of different things we're going to see compared to what we've had with the last 2 matches. So, with the drafts and bans, let's start off with the bans, because they're fairly standard. So, Team Aesthetic has banned out the Frog, which has been met by a ban from Pewdiepie Fan Club, who's banned out Swiggins, which are, 2 very solid high damage dealing characters with access to really good stuns. We also have, before I continue, I should also remind everyone that if you want to win some swag, you can also bet on which team you think will win. So type red or blue in the chat on which team you think will win, and get yourself some awesome stuff. So do that right now, because by the end of this draft you won't be able to do that anymore. So do it now. Put red, blue in the chat. Do it.
Yeah, do it, otherwise you're gonna break my poor old heart.
No, you'll have a better chance of winning the prize. Anyways, next bands, Leon and Sentry from Team Aesthetic, and that's also met by a Ksenia and Skoldier band from Pewdiepie Fan Club. in terms of the pick teams, some interesting combos I don't think I've seen for doubles. At least not in my experience, but I don't have a lot of experience with doubles. What do you think of Team Aesthetic there, Uberanzi?
It's definitely, we've got a couple of, not the like most like okay, they're not bad teams, but you don't see these picks very often, and this is going to be a neat match because of that. But I think these are all actually like pretty, at least like good characters. They're all definitely have their like place, and I think it'll be interesting to see that. But on Team Aesthetic, we've got Lux and Raylan, which is just, you've got Lux with the nice beefiness, you got the good auto attack, the good brawling, and the charge is pretty much a, well, human bullpen. Instead of using a hollow bull, you use your own body and muscle as a baby in a mech suit, I guess. But either way, you can pin people into the turrets there, and you can get some nice combos. And you've got time rift, so if you pin someone into the turret and they get stuck in the time rift, they're dead. There's absolutely no exception. If you get stuck in time rift next to turret, you are going to die if you get body blocked and the enemy team is like they have a brain cell. Like, it is very like hard, maybe even impossible to get out of a situation like that. But it is Sorona. It's not Agalon. It's Sorona, so that's going to be a little trickier to do. But if it were to say Agalon or Ribbit, then that could be a little more effective. But with Team Pewdiepie Fan Club, we've got Ted and Penny. Penny's got the amp damage by default, which can be quite useful. And then, but yeah, generally, some people consider her not a very strong character, but she can still definitely work, and she's got the pounce and decent, just a decent, well-rounded character with a bit of utility, just with the high jump height and the ability to stay in the air for a while, as well as the amp damage. But the problem with her abilities is you have to get the auto attack hits in order to use them. And then Ted, very strong. Airstrike is a very good burst upgrade. He can be pretty hindered by high lockdown or high CC teams, but he does a lot of damage, and we'll see if he helps against the Lux there.
All right, and before we begin, I want to mention one last thing, and that's Baby Curry Mammoth. Traditionally an upgrade on everybody's utility road that can reduce the effect of CC by about 30%. Interesting to note, it does affect times though, so it's really good against Raylan. Also interesting to note is that if you get it against Lone Star's Bull or Jimmy's basically his push, it actually makes him more effective because the knockback is reduced by 30%. He's hitting you with more ticks, which allows you to be basically stuck on him a lot more consistently, so there's an interesting interaction of utility there if they want to do that. Otherwise, I think we're ready to get into the game.
Absolutely. Would you like me to give a countdown for yet another Sorona match?
Sure, at the 15-second mark, correct?
Yes, we're changing it up for this stream. We gotta be special and have it 3 seconds ahead. 3, 2, 1, go.
So, on Team Aesthetic, you've got YOLO combined with Edster, and on Team Pewdiepie fans, you've got Pushkin as well as Baddest Catch, which is cut off supposed to be Baddest Ketchup. And in terms of early pickups, oh, that's something I wouldn't see on Penny very often. You've actually got her going right into Pounce, which is normal, but Spider-Bird Badge as well, which is the range upgrade as long as you have 4 more charges. And Ted's gun for double regen as well as airstrike, which is something I've been doing a little bit more recently. I have to say, it's not bad at all, especially since regen is fantastic for giving you more clear and presence. But that early Spider-Bird badge, that's going to be interesting.
Yeah, I think maybe he just wanted it for the cowboy gun sounds. I mean, that might be part of the reason, because they're so amazing. But either way, Pushkin doing a bit of harassing on YOLO here with the shotgun and the machine gun combos. Doesn't have Tetris, but he does have the Medican. And the airstrike, pretty standard stuff. Airstrike very strong, and you might want to not buy Stimpack right away just due to the fact that it's not so strong until you get a couple upgrades for it. The 40% attack speed is very good, but it's got a long cooldown. And, but you want to get the stun for it and stuff, so it makes sense to go for airstrike right away just to get that burst. But either way, it looks like Ted's trying to go and get those airstrikes. Doesn't hit anyone with that one. Well, Team Aesthetic is just going to farm a bit, try to keep this push going. Trying to hit the snipe. Pushkin manages to dodge it, and it's just clearing these droids. So nothing too exciting yet. We might see some initiation right now. Actually, YOLO taking a bit of damage. The airstrike doesn't quite hit YOLO, but YOLO's going to take a couple of shotgun shells to the face and has to go back to the creep area in order to get some health.
I have to say, early on, right now, you've seen Edster use the time rift quite a lot, and he's actually been putting them in really effective spots. There's been a few situations where Penny's had to jump up through it, or it's been placed right at the tower somebody was escaping, so very good props to Edster for using the time rift effectively. You see that's very good at zoning, and it's going to be a huge asset later game. I imagine that height might be a optimal upgrade for this map in particular, just because it's so open in the air.
Absolutely, but it looks like Edster's actually taking a bit of damage here from Badass Catch. Not Ketchup, he's changed his name. He is now a copyrighted Pokemon character who is badass. But either way, we've got YOLO trying to get the bull, or the bull, I actually said it, but the charge on Pushkin here, but doesn't quite land it, and Pushkin's able to get away after dealing a bit of damage to YOLO here, but just clearing those droids here. And just it's just, you know, you got lots of range on all these characters except for YOLO, unless you're using your missiles to poke. So you got a little bit more safe plays here. YOLO trying to get the YOLO charge, but doesn't quite land it here. Well, Ted is just gonna get out of there, and Badass Sketch is going to just try and hold that mid area and harass against Edster here. Having a bit of lag issues, it seems, but that might just be the replay and its shenanigans. But Edster just, you know, he's just harassing Pushkin, trying to get this worm farm. Actually managed to grab some of it, but Badass Sketch doing a lot of damage to YOLO. He's so hurt. He has 30 health. He's gonna go for the teleport. Oh, but he's gonna get killed by the pounce just in time. And the taunt, the BM coming out from Penny, like a classic Petty player. And Edster going to get these creeps and just try to defend. And you know, Raylan's pretty good at defending here with the time rift. Very good at defending, but that stun's actually going to cancel that snipe, and he's going to miss the time rift and accidentally throw it on the bottom lane. So it looks like Team Pewdiepie Fan Club is going to get a bit of a push here on this top turret. Not really a little bit of damage, but really it's not even noticeable at all. But it makes the health bar show up on the map, and it looks like some people are teleporting back.
That's not time ripped. That's actually pump rifle. That's a lot of snipe damage coming up from Edster there. That's not usual, actually, considering that basically Raylan's huge asset is time ripped and being able to apply this massive time slow. It's going to be interesting to see how pump rifle works out, because the extra damage from snipe actually does hurt quite a bit coming from her.
Well, he has banked, if I may interrupt, he has banked into pump rifle, and he's been doing pretty good on the worm farm and stuff, so it makes sense if he wants to get this, and then maybe just go straight for time rift afterwards. If he gets the, maybe like the increased attack speed or time slow or whatever he desires now, it'll still be very strong, but Edster doesn't have that range. He's not going to be able to hit Penny from that far away after hitting the jump pad, and Penny's actually going to teleport back with a little bit of cash in hand.
Which is fair. She's gonna pick up the Cookie Monster badge, which is I expect that actually, just because that increases your auto attack damage, which includes the gun damage, as long as you have extra charges on your hand. Otherwise, I would even say it's fairly traditional. I see a lot of regen coming out from Ted, as well as the Jimmy in the Lux spot, which is fair. Jimmy's going to get into danger a lot of the times, and regen's a really good way to compensate for the danger that he's going to put himself in, and it even helps in certain team fights. It's even so good, Raylan wants to partake on this, meaning that Raylan's last utility upgrade slot is likely going to be Boots, meaning that there's no kills coming from Raylan, and there's going to be no Baby Carry Mammoth, which is not going to be a huge issue because Blue Team lacks the raw CC that most teams would actually have.
But Blue Team does still have some nice poking and damage. I think that's their main thing here, is they've got decent push with Ted, and they've got lots of poking and damage. That sketch can be really annoying and just kind of get out of whatever he wants. But Pushkin trying to maybe harass Edster. He's got the Tedris now, one of my favorite upgrades in the game. It lets you play quite a bit differently with machine gun and poke a lot more effectively. But either way, he's got the airstrike summon out, just trying to clear, trying to harass, trying to poke, do all that stuff Ted can do.
Which is fair. Also, one thing I wanted to mention, just as you said before, the gun penny, the sound effects. I believe one of the sound effects is the GoldenEye gun sound, which is something I find fantastic and don't see mentioned very often.
Oh yeah, it's amazing. The old style first-person shooter and the old style cowboy movie sounds for guns and stuff. Just the classic like ricochet. It's great. You can't go wrong with it.
Speaking of going wrong, almost gets hit by an airstrike. Edster manages to dodge pounce, gets the snipe off and the damage off from Badass Ketchup, and he's taken down. He could have used some protection. He could have used condiment. But it looks like he's not going to be able to survive this one. Auto attack does well, but does not get him out of certain situations. Ted's going to be left alone, defends himself from the Tetrisville. The time rift in the perfect position to cause as much pain as possible. And looks like Red Team's going to try to push that bottom as much as possible. Ted's going to come back and they're going to be able to defend somewhat effectively. Airstrike combined with shotgun, very good clear and very good deterrent.
Absolutely, looks like he's trying to get that nice double snipe, but it's not going to happen. Edster going to take a bit of damage here, Tedris shots and a pounce, but nothing too crazy. Not going to get hit by that airstrike. A nice protection airstrike almost hit him, Esther trying to get another snipe off. Not quite able to land them because of he doesn't have the range upgrade, and on Serona that can be a little trickier to land snipes. And there's plenty of little bits of cover here and there in the mid area where you can just kind of hide under a solid piece of ground and avoid those snipes.
No,
but it looks like, yeah.
Otherwise, I expect to see a little bit of range come out soon, or it'd be interesting to see if flashy glasses may be an option for Edster. Not think so, because I think Time Rift may be a little bit more important, but we'll see. We have Penny taking the creeps constantly from the red team side, trying to deny as much regen as possible and get that farm going. Put himself in a bad position as the Jimmy charges, left in a really bad position, the low HP, going to have to charge to get out there, just as the jump pad gets out there.
Edster.
Yeah.
I'm watching, I don't want to be mean to Edster, but I'm watching Edster with his time rifts and his snipe placement, and it just makes me cry every time.
Well, there've been some good ones.
He has definitely had some good airstrikes, or I mean, not airstrikes, excuse me.
Time rifts.
Time rifts. Time rift is an airstrike now. It's a new patch. You heard it here first, folks. But either way, yeah, I'm seeing. Sometimes he seems to have his time rifts kind of land on the other lane. He just doesn't quite get that precise placement he's looking for. And it looked like he hit snipe before actually hitting the jump pad at top there when he was chasing Penny. So he actually just kind of stood there while Penny ran away, but he's still doing a decent enough job, and he just needs to get those time rift upgrades, and he will be doing way better. Tries to get the snipe, hits Pushkin, but not badass catch up here. Doing a bit of damage, trying to get the time rift in their face and get a bit of push going, see if they can secure a kill slash pick slash, well, free money.
Essentially. And let's say, in terms of damage, 658 in snipe is not bad at this point in the game. That's a decent amount of damage. And you see that Baz Ketchum's getting in there, getting lots of brawl, just trying to get out, and is looking just to kind of play around. A very harassy team coming from the blue team, which is expected to be the case. And it almost looks like my Penny build with stunt helmet for the extra knockback. So we're going to see Penny probably go behind, get the pounce, and try to knock him into the tires, maybe an airstrike. So there's a lot of threat to become Skoldier 2.0. And we'll have to see what plays out and see if there's going to be any good pounces looking in the future.
Well, I feel like the extra knockback on Pounce, as well as the extra charge, is going to give him some extra damage. And, well, there's the Stimpack and the Grenade pour Homme, which will help with the stun, giving that 0.3 seconds mini stun in a very wide AoE, which is going to be quite helpful. But Badass Catcher, with that insane Pounce knockback, going to knock them all towards the turret, while Pushkin is trying to do some damage with shotgun here, getting the Tedros and shotgun combos. But Edster taking a lot of damage, as is YOLO, but there's some health packs here in order to heal him up. But something I was going to say is, now that they've got stun on the Stimpack as well as the extra knockback on Pounce, the stunt helmet, it is going to help a lot with helping Pushkin get out of these bad engagements, but with just having that little bit of CC there will help Pushkin get the safety, because he does not have nearly as much mobility and escape as Badass Ketchup does, especially against something like a Time Rift here. It might just save their life.
And speaking of saving their lives, one thing I'd like to note is that Jimmy, his charge is not interrupted with silence anymore. That was changed to make him continuously charge. However, the stun upgrade through Ted allows him to deny the base of the charge. So if he's in a bad position and needs to stop a charge immediately, he can pop that and he can save his life, which is quite nice. Otherwise, Raylan's actually got HC bomb. Airstrike goes up, hits YOLO. Could do a lot of damage, but he's just gonna be fine mid. Baz gets to stick around, probably do a little bit more harassing. Gets hit by a snipe. Oh, that's a lot of damage, unfortunately, for him. And Red Team's looking to get as much push as possible. It's just gone for an HC bomb build, so stacking up auto attack damage combined with the damage stacking of HC bomb. So we're gonna see a lot of burst damage coming out in that certain different ways. 307 for one auto attack after landing a time rift, so it's fairly interesting because usually I see Ray build the high, build slow, damage, sometimes T800 drone. Yeah, this is fairly fresh, as well as I think flexible and
oh, the pounce! And here comes the shotgun. Ezra trying to get the tricky, like the bait just kind of standing there so that he can get the delayed jump pad. But YOLO actually going to take a lot of damage here too. But he's got that shield on charge. He's going to get away. He doesn't hit any of the creeps, but he's going to get away. There is no pulse coming out from Penny. Does Penny have pulse?
Nope. Penny does not have pulse.
Penny does not. Okay, Penny does not have pulse and is going. This build, it kind of makes sense, but you should probably like have a pulse. I'd say you shouldn't ignore basic upgrades unless it's really just not strong or not vital at all in the early game. But either way, Penny here with the you've got the extra charges, you've got the base damage based on charge and the ranged auto attack. I feel like that's what the Penny. That's what Baddest Ketchup was going for, was just like a really strong auto attack as well as that really nice pounce in order to help with escape and do that extra damage.
And which is all fair and well, actually. I know most people advise to take both skills. There's some certain situations, and I argue Penny is one of them, because she spends charges as a resource. Having just a little bit of extra auto attack damage early game and just being able to have the extra charges and focus on that allows us to play a little bit more of a harassy game and not have to worry about Pulse. Pulse can come in later if you want like silence or if you want some extra burst damage at the end. It's mostly a finisher, but at this point in time, Baddest Ketchup's playing Penny like a harasser, and high mobility just Scoldier, I guess. Just with the knockback right there. It's just going to get sandwiched between stun and try to survive by teleporting back. Will he make it? He's barely alive, and he gets picked off by the pounce, but in return, Baddest Ketchup is actually going to get picked off by a baby. Yeah, just a baby.
Yeah, they pretty much, this baby is a murderer, but, you know, it's a baby. It's kind of hard to charge a baby with murder, but either way, it looks like Pushkin here is going to go in with the shotgun, hitting 3 shots now, and actually doesn't hit the Tetris there, but YOLO taking quite a bit of damage. Just noticed that this top turret here for the red team is actually rather low at about 2 bars or 1.5 bars, and Pushkin could easily body that turret if they just manage to get a nice kill here, and that will give them plenty of ground, which will help them a lot with just helping push. If they can get both these front turrets down, it's going to help an insane amount. But it looks like that's what Penny is doing now, almost killing that turret, taking a lot of damage from Raylan's auto attack though. But Edster is going to take just as much damage from Ted. He's got that HC bomb auto attack, but he's just going to use it on the creep instead of trying to save it for another time. Sketchup trying to do some damage, but here comes YOLO with the charge. Doesn't quite pick up the Penny. The airstrike doesn't hit Edster, but Penny is so hurt he's going to teleport in the enemy creep area while Ted is trying to get out of there. Well, Team Aesthetic is just going to keep the pressure on.
So, you can't charge a baby of murder, but the baby can murder with charge.
Oh my god, stop. I don't want to cast with you anymore. Can I leave? Can I quit?
Is it a double kill?
Oh, but it doesn't matter.
No.
Who cares about quitting? You've got Pushkin cleaning up, and that is both of Team Aesthetic dead after they take that bottom turret, but it looks like they're going to lose 2 for it.
I don't think that was a really good trade for them. I mean, they wanted the tower push, they wanted that extra solar, but in the end, that is a massive amount of turret damage that's done to red team turret. As soon as the droids get through, that's pretty much bottom tower gone. Actually, they're going to try to do it right now anyways. Auto-attacking, and it's gone. In this game of Serona, it's very important to note that if you need that extra little bit of chip damage to knock down a tower, or I guess in any map really, if you can do a little bit of tower tanking, you can get a little bit of chip, which makes all the difference late game, because if you chip eventually, the tower will go down.
Absolutely. It looks like we've got some more upgrades coming out. We should probably talk about this. We got Baby Curry Mammoth coming from Raylan. Kind of makes sense. There's not that much CC on the enemy team, but you do have that ridiculous pounce. As stated, as he actually pounced YOLO into the Super Droid missile. Kind of a good play here, but Pushkin really hurt. Everybody here is really hurt. Looks like Baddest Ketchup has spent his charges using that pounce, but Pushkin tried to bait them into the airstrike. It's not going to happen. The missiles, he's taking so much damage, he's going to go down to the danger pins. Damage burst at the end of charge. Well, Penny is going to have to get out of there with her life.
Which is all fair and well. Penny's gone for the extra charge retained when using pounce, which makes sense if going to the auto attack build. Also, Starstorm Statue to increase the auto attack damage, which is also something I typically build on the auto attack Penny. Tedster. I mean, the Ted. Wow. Edster plays a lot of Ted. That's one getting at. Anyways, Ted has picked up his auto attack damage as well as the stim pack steroid attack speed increase through ammo magazine. You see Yellow's going to take a lot of damage, had to back off. And Ted's going to be a force to be reckoned with if he can get in there, which is going to be his plan. Knock down the turrets either a little bit faster or just kind of be as much of a brute when fighting Jimmy. Otherwise, I'd say that Dirty Diapers, fairly solid upgrade on Jimmy. Lifesteal, fairly solid. I think it's a pretty standard Jimmy build. It's interesting to see the amount of Baby Cream Mammoth coming up, as if the threat of the knockback is a little bit more dangerous than they want to deal with. We see that Raylan's gone for T800 drone, which is a little bit annoying in my experience. It body blocks people into the time rift as well as pushes, and if you destroy it, it just comes back as soon as Raylan puts another time rift down. So these are very disposable rifts. They're not basically for placing down specific situations. I mean, it helps, but they're mostly for the added benefit of a couple other things. So you see the time going out there.
I'm actually surprised by the amount of sort of damage that Edster's go for. Instead of going for the time rift utility, what with the charge and all, which probably it kind of makes sense because they're on Serona. If they were on Agalon, I imagine Edster would have gone for a much more time rift heavy build. But we actually see the HC bomb. We've got the droid on rift. He's got a very push heavy and sort of PvP damage heavy build, which is going to help a lot with getting kills. He's only gotten one so far, but I feel like with a little bit of just watching out for that pounce there, if they could just kind of bait out Ted's airstrike, because Ted is very vulnerable if he doesn't land the airstrike, then they're going to be able to have an easy kill.
That's all fair and well. It's going to be determined, I think, in the next couple of minutes. I think we're going to see something pretty big. Just the tensions on the blue team and the red team are pretty much even. Since the red team gets that tower down, there's going to be some work tapping. Speaking of work happening, Ezra gets pushed, even with Baby Cream out, into a horrible situation where he's finished off by Pushkin, just basically blasting him in the face. We see Yellow's try to just drill his rockets right against Baz Ketchup and is able to do so. It's a 1v1 between Pushkin and the baby. Yellow just sort of begins work, and Jimmy's got enough angriness and enough rattles to punch Ted out of his safety zone, so he's looking for the push, gain that split push off as much as possible. Looking to brawl a little bit more, perhaps, and try to really keep Ted from doing anything.
Yeah, looks like Ted here's taking a bit of damage from Yolo here. Got the charge damage, but he's just got so much auto attack damage. You do not underestimate Ted's damage in any way. It is crazy. Even with just like a basic auto attack damage upgrades, like you don't need grenades or Tetris, it is still just so powerful. But Ed's trying to go for the snipe, manages to hit Pushkin with it, so Pushkin is going to have to teleport back. He's got to fall back, hitting that defend command, fall back, just like the classic internet space Marine. I said like Ramin or something. Who cares? But Badass Ketchup here is now supported once again by Pushkin here, with Edster holding the stealthy area here at Serona mid. But he's going to try and go for the snipe. Lands kind of a bad spot, is not able to hit anything with it, and the airstrike whiffs as well. So you got two really big damage upgrades being whiffed by both teams. So it looks like there's a bit of brawling and poking going on here, but nothing too serious. Just they're looking for an opening here, and that was probably their opening, but they both missed their abilities rather than just one. But
the timer to almost grabbing Baz Ketchup in a bad situation, but Baz Ketchup managed to fight it. Edster is going to go down underneath the worm, and Yellow's left by himself. Pushkin's very low. Could very well die. Charges the wrong direction, pushes the droids instead, and they're currently droids attacking the red team's tower, so they're going to actually probably do some chip damage while Yellow's unable to defend effectively. So the turret's taking a few bars of damage while Bad Sketcher shoots it down, and Ted's going to brawl. So you have the droids being hit by the AoE of the Spider Bird badge, and it's 1/3 of it's down already. It's unfortunate that Edster died in that last fight, because honestly, on a map like this, time rift is devastating for Sol, even when it's not invested into.
Absolutely. The biggest part about time rift is its time slow, and although there is an upgrade that increases that and is definitely very good, you still just base time rift is just so useful, especially on if you've got a teammate that can charge enemies into it or pin them into it or something like that. But it looks like Team Aesthetic might be trying to give a bit of a push on this top turret here. Got the missiles to poke, but taking a ton of damage from Penny. Pushkin trying to look for an opening with airstrike maybe, but he's taking some damage as well. Gonna have to defend that top turret and maybe grab these creeps. Yolo trying to get, like, maybe push Badass Ketchup into that snipe, but Edster gonna take a ton of damage from that airstrike. There's the opening. He's got so much damage, but Badass Ketchup misses the pounce. And Edster is just running, doesn't have boots, but it looks like he's not gonna be chased by anyone, while Yolo is just keeping the enemies at bay for Edster to get to safety.
I have to say, it's been an interesting railing build. I'm not sure if it's been the best one for the situation, but it has been interesting. If I could say anything, from my personal experience, I think that rushing attack speed, or maybe just keeping the Pierce, going for the auto attack damage, and focusing on Rift as a big wall of nope to deny the Penny gaining in the first place, might have been the right choice for the situation. Also, given the utility Raylan, no boots, and that's not happening all game. Baby Curie Mammoth regen and Bank means that there's no pills, there's no boots. Raylan's pretty fragile when she doesn't have boots or pills.
Yeah, no boots on Raylan. Raylan's boots are one of the best, like, sort of boots upgrades in the games, because some enemies, or not enemies, Knots have unique boots, as most people I'm sure watching this know. And Skoldiers and Raylans, those are both really strong ones, and then other characters have unique boots as well, like Eulip's and Penny's. Penny's giving us an extra jump, but her jump is really shallow, but usually it's it's to help with escape, giving you a lot of extra movement speed after using an ability or after staying out of combat. But without boots, Raylan is quite a slow character with a pretty mediocre jump. The Time Rift does help with escape, and Snipe does have knockback, but you gotta be careful here. Looks like Edster's actually gonna teleport out while Lux here actually goes back. But the bottom turret for Team Aesthetic is actually quite hurt. I wasn't really paying attention to that, but it's only got about 3 bars here. Quite a dangerous situation if Pushkin or Baddest Ketchup, like, say, backdoors just like Baddest Ketchup just did, they might be able to take down the turret at the cost of their life. Or maybe even without it, but it looks like Pushkin's in a bit of trouble here, trying to get away, uses the Snimpack. But it looks like here's Penny going back again, like I said. He's not going to actually pursue it, he's going to go for the teleport. No, he's going back in, he's just going to finish off the turret, nobody cares. He's just going for the base. He's just gonna go for the base or just teleport away. They don't care. They're not going back. You can look on the minimap here. Penny's just deciding to deal with it. They're just trying to clear. I don't know if they want to go for like a base race or something, but Baddest Ketchup, oh, that's Super Droid. Ooh, he's got to deal with the Super Droid too. But Baddest Ketchup is going to... Ted's actually in a lot of trouble. Are they trying to just like body this turret after killing Ted, or is Baddest Ketchup just gonna kill the base? Like, are they just not going back? Oh, there's Raylan. Raylan finally goes back, but the base is almost dead.
2/3 of that core HP is already gone. That's not defending. That's getting aggressive. And you know what, Baddest Ketchup, kudos to him. He's been doing the backdoor game all game. Something I personally hate the fight, but if you sacrifice a little bit of HP and do that chip damage to the tower, you open up new avenues and new opportunities. And they basically, I think Blue Team might have it. Core exposure is massive in Awesomenauts compared to other MOBAs where you don't have any core shields. So any chip to the tower, a chip to the turrets, it permanently matters, and it basically going Baddest Ketchup going from the back door once again. The core is exposed. Oh, I'm just going to shoot it with a few bullets. It's fine. Jimmy's going to have to go defend, but at this rate, Blue Team's just going to win by attrition.
Oh, that Pounce manages to cancel out the snipe, and he's able to get away. Really? Wow. Just Baddest Ketch, just, you know, the copyrighted Pokemon character, now a badass, is able to get out of that fairly unscathed. Didn't die, and he's actually got quite a bit of money, but I don't think any of these builds are maxed out, but we've definitely got a lot of upgrades coming out from both teams here. Getting into the late game here of 24 minutes is quite long for an Awesomenauts game, as I'm sure most people know, but Baddest Ketchup is just going to go back again. Both of Team Aesthetic are chasing him. He's going to bait them into the airstrike. Not quite, but that would have been a pretty good play if he was able to bait the airstrike, but here comes the airstrike. Doesn't hit anything. Team Aesthetic just chasing Baddest Ketchup, and just like, he's just gonna go for the base again. He doesn't care. He's just gonna run away. He's got a quadruple jump. He doesn't care. Edster's not gonna land the Time Rift, and YOLO isn't gonna hit the charge into the Time Rift. Baddest Ketchup is just gonna run away. He hits his snipe, but who cares, because he's just gonna teleport back and get his health back.
This is what I'm talking about. Just constant chip in the core just means that Blue Team's pretty much gotten the game. The only way that Red Team is going to have to be able to get it right now is to get a team wipe, and it seems like it's going to be the opposite situation where Penny's just going to go to the base right now. Yellow's fighting Pushkin, do lots of damage, misses, and is left at low HP, getting poked by Tetrisville, and really has to chip him down.
Ooh, that was a good airstrike there, but it doesn't matter because Baddest Ketchup is just going to finish off the core. 3, 2, 1, boom! And that is victory for Team Pewdiepie Fan Club.
Indeed it was. I have to say, honestly, I think some things could have changed to gone better. One thing I want to point out is that I think for Raylan, Iron Rifle, given the snipe builds and this how often she was sniping, might have been a good idea. CC, MIDI, and a little bit of a shield while sniping means that Pounce would have not been able to cancel the snipe.
I feel like Raylan's build, it was just like, tried to focus on the snipe, but yeah, with the lack of Iron Rifle, it's a little harder to do that. And I don't know if Edster wanted to go for the flashy glasses, but it went for the auto attack instead. Feel like Time Rift upgrades or something like Time Slow, or just like something like Iron Rifle, something to support his Time Rift or his snipe more than just like some auto attack upgrades and HC bomb, and I guess a bit of regen.
Yeah, it's a little bit sad. I'd say that I like Baby Cream Map, great upgrade, and it's really good at countering the knockback, but I think Boots might have been a better choice in this situation. Raylan relies on those boots to get out of certain cases, and it was just unfortunate. Maybe the early piggy bank was a bad idea and just should have held off for a different upgrade.
Perhaps, like, Edster did have some solid money at the beginning of the game, so I think what he could have done was get Iron Rifle if he wants to snipe as much as he does, and maybe sort of just not go for Baby Curry Mammoth and get boots instead, or not go for the bank and just play a little slower and get the Time Rift upgrades and the boots.
Definitely. Otherwise, I have to say the Petty build went pretty well. No pulse until the very end there. You can see pulse being bought. Second last item in the game, with the pulse upgrades being right after that. And auto attack on Penny is fairly good. I actually think that Spider-Bird badge is a little bit underrated with the Cookie Monster badge and the Gray Man badge. It makes a really good auto attack, and given Penny's mobility, I think that's really solid overall.
Yeah, it was definitely it was well played by both teams. Ezra definitely could have like did a slightly like more. I'm trying to think of the word. Perfect build, I guess. But either way, it was well played, and especially well played from Team Pewdiepie Fan Club taking the first game.
Right, with that, we will go on to the next game in a few minutes. Grab yourself a drink, grab yourself a soda, go to the washroom. We'll be back in a few minutes. everyone. Welcome back to the Awesomenauts of Rumble's Doubles Tournament. My name is Devmon, and I'm joined here by Uberanzi.
Hello.
Well, we just saw the first match, I believe, of Pewdiepie Fan Club versus Team Aesthetic. Is that correct?
Yes.
And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Pewdiepie Fan Club was able to beat Team Aesthetic using a combination of Penny and Ted, an auto-attack gun Penny, of all things, fighting off a Raylan and a Jimmy.
Yes.
Okay. Anyways, we have the next match. Same two teams, but different combinations and a different map. There's
yes. I only
Okay.
say yes or no. All right. Don't worry.
No.
Don't worry.
All right, you got to say a little bit more than that because we've got some interesting drafts going on. In terms of teams and bands, Pewdiepie Fan Club has banned out Swiggins, Skoldir, and Penny, which are... I think the Swiggins and the Penny have proven themselves, and if anybody knows anything about Skoldir, he hurts. It's very bad. And for the other team bands, I should mention that it's Ribbit First, which has a jump pad in the middle, which means Keynots like Durple are going to get banned. So we have a Durple ban as well as Frog, because Frog is not allowed to visit his home planet of Ribbit 4. He's been disallowed to visit. And the Jimmy and Amy Lex ban. That's going to finish off the bans. In terms of the team comps, you have Leon being picked with Sentry, which I'm not really honestly sure how to feel about that. I mean, Sentry does well with Burst. You usually have Sentry combined with, say, like Nibs or anybody who has high damage that relies on people to really capitalize on the black hole. Leon's a solid pick, though, and I don't think they're bad. It's just I don't see the team synergy between them as much. Beacon's going to be good wards for the bush. That's going to be awesome. And before I continue on with the other team, just a reminder, type in red or blue in the chat and vote on which team you would like to see. Sorry, which team you think will win. Your votes don't determine who wins, but will determine what you may win. So vote red, vote blue, type in the chat, and win yourself some awesome swag. Lastly, going to the last team, Leon versus Sentry is going to fight Na and Chucho.
Yes, Chucho is just in a very good Sentry disguise. You know, I mean, he's a bounty hunter. So don't worry about the stream. He's a bounty hunter. He's got to know how to like disguise and fool other people. But yes,
Sentry's the one that disguised as other things like telephone.
Well, maybe Sentry's going to disguise as Chucho. I don't know. It's very strange. But yeah, don't worry. The Sentry. It's Na and Chucho, not Na and Sentry, and then we've got Leon and Sentry on Pewdiepie Fan Club. So it's just a slight technical error, I guess. But either way, Na and Chucho, you've got so much area control. Like you've got like 4 or 5 Weedlings, and then you've got the turret, and you've got all that. Like you've got a little bit of burst with the Chucho, and in a way, kind of a DOT burst because it's sticky bomb with a 5-second timer, and then you've got that DOT. So area control, decent push, decent damage, and lots of like harassment too, I'd say. So definitely gonna work out for them. It's not Sorona, so it's not as much of a big map that you can really stall on, and it's Ribbit, so some characters just have a really nice advantage, like Ted and Durple, which is a reason why Durple was banned, and even characters like Clunk and Skoldir can get some pretty crazy throws and nukes if you hit the jump pad while doing your abilities. But either way, and then on the other team we've got Leon and Sentry, both really strong characters, but they don't really have the like. Well, they do have damage. Leon's definitely got some damage, but they don't have like the real burst to like back up the Sentry, I feel. But either way, I think their auto attacks are going to do a good enough job, and then you'll have the silence pull, and it'll do some serious work. So I think both teams are pretty good here. Maybe a slight edge for Pewdiepie Fan Club, in my opinion, but we'll see.
It's funny because I think Team Aesthetic, after seeing Na on that team, I think Na's got the power to really wreck faces, and I think that the fact that they've got DOT to counter Sentry's ability to teleport, I think that's really going to play into the game. I think that's going to be a huge factor.
Absolutely. Na is pretty strong on like a lot of the maps, and he's definitely proving his worth, especially in this tournament. But either way, we should probably get into the match. Do you want me to give you a countdown?
Actually, that'd be pretty cool. Yeah, if you could just do a countdown, and we are at 15 seconds.
Yes. Okay, counting down from 3, 2, 1, go.
Alright, so on the red team, you've got Esther playing your Na, and you've got YOLO playing your Chucho, Skull Chopper variety, with flavor, I guess you could say. we have Bad as Ketchup playing Sentry, which is pretty standard. That's Bad as Ketchup's favorite character, if I recall correctly, and you've got Pushkin playing Leon. In terms of damage, and I'm just going out early. Leon's opted for a little bit unusual. Most people have both their abilities. Pushkin is opted to get one stage of backstab right off the bat, getting a little bit more damage. I think that might be quite helpful. It's not really going to help him against the turret, which constantly faces him, but it'll do a bit of damage and help him clear the droids, and I think that's not a bad idea.
Well, backstab it's good for chasing, and it's pretty much free damage against droids, and it's fairly cheap. You might want to go for silence instead or something if you're going to get a upgrade that is basic abilities early on, but still strong, and we'll see if it gets put to work here in this match.
Well, I think we will see. I wonder if the second stage is going to be rushed right off the bat, or if you might opt for something like maybe tongue range combined with other things. You have Bad as Ketchup doing a good job, just kind of clear out the all the turrets and whatnot. I'm interested to see where he wants to put his teleport beacon, because that's going to determine a lot of the flow of the match. Usually in this map, I'd recommend Sentry to put it right in the bush, just because that gives you the bush vision constantly, and that can be a huge factor if somebody's trying to salt the bush or trying to ambush you. It's a safe defensive measure, or if you want to teleport in there later, you can get really aggressive. He's going to put the beacon right there, and he's going to be able to go to the base, grab the HP, and teleport right back, which is good for sustain. Not a bad idea. Naw's doing a really good job just controlling that jungle. All you see all the weeds, one the bush, one the side. It allows Naw to really do a good job just going after everything else he needs. Naw going for the double weed, instant spit burst on the solar boss. The solar boss is going down this second. That's the fastest.
Well, it looks like Edster just got an achievement.
Yeah, fastest clear on the solar boss. We have the sticky bomb's going to land right on that sentry. He's not going to be able to teleport away. He's going to take all that damage, and it might be first blood. It might be.
Oh, yeah. Just barely.
Ole! So Edster's going to get that. He's going to get the solar boss. Naw's scary. Ever since the change to reduce the self-stun and basically his plant damage, he's been a very scary Naw. He's been very underrated in some situations. We have Pushkin taking that sticky bomb damage. Might be able to recover with the health kit, of course. And we have a poor old YOLO being picked off by backstab damage. Edster's going to get taken down a little bit with the black hole. And Leon's actually in a good position, so I mean, it kind of stinks that they lost a death really early on, but they made up for it, and they're doing some decent damage. Pushkin's got low HP, but he's been able to do some decent chip damage. Leon gets a little bit more crazy late game with the chip damage with the droids, of course, or actually his clones, as well as the more of the upfront damage, so if we see Clover of Honor or the attack speed. Right now Backstab's going to be good for clearing droids, but not so much for pushing towers. Meanwhile, speaking of pushing towers, we have the black hole going off. It's just going to take a little bit of damage, but unfortunately Pushkin doesn't have enough HP to follow up to secure a kill. And the top tower in blue is looking pretty beaten up. It's less than half HP. We're already at 3.5 minutes in the game right now.
Well, that's the nice thing about Ribbit here, is the games aren't nearly as slow, and the mid isn't nearly as big as Serona. Serona's a pretty big map, and it's a bit stally too, especially depending on your team comps. But with the Ribbit, generally the games are actually a little bit faster here, and they'll progress. And you've got some much closer up mid fights here, where you can really just get in people's faces and trap them and hide in the leaves and whatnot. And it looks like YOLO's actually going to hit Pushkin with a sticky bomb here and get pulled himself. So everyone's a little low here, but there's no abilities here to come out. But looking at the upgrades one, we've got Silence Tongue on Leon, as well as a bit of regen. Pretty good stuff, standard stuff, and you can't really go long with Silence. One of the strongest upgrades for Leon in a lot of people's opinions, and just in general. And then we've got Blebelzork coming out from Chucho here with just a slight attack speed increase. Well, it's not really slight, it's 45%, it's definitely not slight, it's quite a bit after you hit someone with a sticky bomb, so that'll help with the brawling and possibly pushing as well if you hit someone with a sticky bomb while you're trying to push that tower. Speaking of pushing here, it looks like they might try to push a stop tower here. It's got 2 bars, they might be able to kill it. Basket's going to get stuck by bomb, but he's got an almost fully charged black hole. He's going to go for it on YOLO. YOLO's going to get out of it just barely. And Basket's taking tons of damage. He's got that teleport beacon up. The DOT's going to stop him from taking it. Gets hit by the plant slam. Is he going to go down to the base DOT? No, the regen is going to save his life, because regen is love and regen is life.
Oh, quite literally, this is where regen keeps you alive. Edster on that Naw really showing effectively how to push. Naw has been, I think, underwhelmed in terms of his pushing capabilities. Putting down a couple weeds, really solid damage to the tower, and it's really solid DPS. And speaking of damage, I'm looking at the damage values right now. Esther as the Gnaw sitting at 42,000, whereas everybody next closest one is Leon at 29,000. So, like, that's a lot of damage. I'm just gonna say that right now. Gnaw is really scary, and he hasn't even gotten plant damage or amp yet.
Yeah, when it comes to the damage done, Gnaw is actually stomping right now. In early game, Gnaw can be quite good, and late game, it really depends on your build. And Edster's build right now is looking pretty good with the amp damage and the rabbit teeth to help chase, and to help with the team fights, getting that amp damage of 15% for 4 whole seconds, which is quite a long time. Better catch up, taking a bit of damage. He just got the amp damage on him. Esther kind of trying to chase, but that bottom turret is still alive, so he's going to be able to get away safely. Here's Pushkin with the invis, gets the pull, and pulls him into the mines, but YOLO's going to get away with, like, 10 health. It might have even said 0 health on the health bar, because you actually have to go into the negatives to die, so sometimes you can have 0 health, but Esther's actually going to go down to the Pushkin auto attack after getting the nice pull, and just some chasing and pressure from Team Pewdiepie fan club. But it looks like they're pushing the bottom turret here a bit, giving it to about half health, and it's not quite melting status. Like, Leon's gonna have to get some upgrades for that, but doing a little bit of damage. But Chucho is here to defend, and the turret's going to stay alive, I think. But it's taken a heavy beating, and it will definitely die after another push like that.
Oh, I'd say so. It's going to be a pretty fast game, I would imagine, given how things are going right now. Otherwise, I have to say, Baby Curry Math will not makes a lot of sense. Baby Curry Math, as I said before, reduces CC, and one of the CCs that it actually does reduce is Gravity, which includes Sentry's Black Hole and a couple other upgrades, which are as impressive as Sentry's Black Hole, which secures kill on YOLO. That combined damage, I mean, it's not like a 1-2 bread and butter combo between the Sentry and the Leon there, but I think they have a lot of things that cover the weaknesses, so it's more of a general, flexible, powerful strategy rather than 1-2, here's the Nibs and Sentry combo.
Absolutely, it looks like there's a bit of a push going down on the bottom turret, and it is going to go down to Badass Ketchup, trying to get that black hole, maybe chase Edster, but he's got that rabbit teeth, he's just going to get straight out of there, and pretty much take no damage here. YOLO throwing a sticky bomb onto the droids, using the increased attack speed in order to clear these droids here, but it looks like Badass Ketchup is going to teleport on top of Edster. Edster taking quite a bit of damage, but he's going to be able to get to his creep area. Badass Ketchup is very low. YOLO trying to chase him, but he gets pulled by Pushkin. Pushkin and Badass Ketchup are both super hurt. It looks like they're going to be able to get away to safety and actually try and support the super droid down here. And he's got to be careful of that sticky bomb. Doesn't want to get hit by it by accident, but it looks like YOLO's going to grab those creeps. And the solar boss, I believe, just went down again for Team Aesthetic, so they're getting plenty of experience and money from that. But Edster does a nice little lip jump there where he actually goes on the left of the jump pad, and YOLO was able to get the kill on Pushkin, possibly using Edster as bait. And we've got a bit of a push possibly happening on bottom. Blue's a little pushed up here. Team Pewdiepie fan club is a bit pushed up, so they got to clear these droids in order to get a push going. But it looks like they're actually going to maybe... No, they're not. I thought they were going to go for the solar boss on a Pewdiepie fan club's territory and try to get a kill there on the solar boss, but not much pushing going on, but they're getting that ground back, which they need to do. And Pushkin coming back with the Leon swag, the Frenchman's swag. And we've got the spike tongue piercing and the attack speed actually on auto attack, which you don't see too often. It is definitely just a raw DPS upgrade, especially against towers and for your clones as well, which is quite useful. And then we've got damage on pull.
Speaking of damage, that was a really good play from Sentry. Black hole and just the complete burst coming out of everything else. That was the... Chucho just melted in just 1 second. And we actually see Badass Ketchup's actually got an upgrade that we don't see very often. And that's actually alien bug, like the bug detector. That used to be a gravity increase for Black Hole Sun, but now it's when you pop it, you do like some decent DPS as long as you're hugging the enemy. So it's using it very effectively to melt things. And this is actually the first time I think I've seen it used by any Sentry players since the actual change.
It's actually kind of neat because he's got the movement speed while using Black Hole, and due to the length of the charge time, I don't know the exact time or exactly how long you charge for, but I believe it's a little less than 2 seconds, so you can do a solid almost 200 damage with that bug detector there, and it will scale with level, I believe, so it's some nice solid damage. If you can just get close to the enemy and just hug them, and then you can hit them with the black hole and the auto attacks, giving him that little bit of solo kill capability. But YOLO gonna take a bit of damage from Pushkin, but he's gonna get the sticky bomb on Pushkin in retaliation. And YOLO trying to get out of there, running away. He doesn't have his bike for that extra speed boost, but Badass Ketchup here he comes with the black hole. He's gonna try and get it, but YOLO is gonna be above it on top of that platform, with Edster also out of the way behind the turret, with Badass Ketchup eating a sticky bomb to the face. Looks like Edster's actually going to go for the solar boss here, as long as he doesn't die or something. He should be a-okay in order to get a little bit of extra solar and experience for his team. While Battle Sketchup is clearing on bottom here, and Pushkin's going to go back to the base.
I'd say that Edster's been on point with clear for the with the solar bosses. They've been dying incredibly quickly, and he's been doing an incredibly good job at just clearing them as much as possible, proving that Na's really, really strong right now. And I'm surprised that he's honestly not played as much as he is, given the fact that he used to be one of the most powerful characters in the pod. Speaking of which, DOT's going to finish off the Bad Sketchup. Pushkin's going to directly finish off Edster. And Yellow versus Pushkin, that Silence Tongue is actually going to help.
Oh, and he missed the sticky bomb.
Missed the sticky bomb, and Silence Tongue delayed the sticky bomb just enough to prevent the attack speed boost. So now Pushkin's the only one alive. We're going to make the push in the top tower.
Absolutely, and Leon is pretty damn good at dealing with these towers here, especially with the attack speed increase. It's going to increase damage against tower, and it is down, and that is another tower for the blue team, or in this case, Team Pewdiepie Fan Club. And that's a slight tower advantage, slight structure advantage, whatever you want to say for Pewdiepie Fan Club, which is good, because the area control that that Team Aesthetic has is really good. So if they get that area, it's hard to get it back. But YOLO's actually going to take a bunch of damage from Pushkin, but Pushkin's actually got the sticky bomb on him. He survives with 0 health! He had 0 health on that health bar. Again, that's the second time I believe that's happened in this game. Just having the exact amount of health he needs in order to survive, and getting the 1 for 0 against YOLO there, while grabbing the health back in the red solar boss area. And Edster is in a bit of a pickle here, because he is alone by himself, defending against a potential push.
See, I think the blood detector, if you see sentry every once in a while, does work against droids. It's kind of effective there. Not sure how much people like to run it. Personally, I prefer the Cyanide Secrets for the extra burst damage and just stacking out microfilm, but up to you. It's a hard to use upgrade, and it's proving very well for Bad Sketchup at the moment anyways. In terms of other upgrades, we have Matroid, the standard damage for against Awesomenauts on Chucho's pistol, and Na's going for the traditional auto attack build, which is the Rotten Teeth for extra DOT time stacking, lifesteal, which is actually fantastic on Na. I think one of the best lifesteals in the game, hands down, and Rabbit Teeth. I think that's the only Na build for auto attack at the moment, to be honest.
The real advantage of Na's lifesteal here is just the fact that it could heal from the DOT that he deals with auto attack. So if you get Rotten Teeth, which he has now, and it's also percentage based, which is a huge bonus. It doesn't scale with level but it scales with what your upgrades are and like what your auto attacks level is and stuff like that. So it's very strong, and it gives you a lot of health quite quickly. But Edster's going to get caught in the black hole, but he's just going to run out of it because of the Rabbit Teeth. YOLO taking a lot of damage, doesn't hit a sticky bomb on anyone. Bad Sketchup and Pushkin are all very low. Pushkin invis going to clear these droids potentially. Bad Sketchup trying to go in on Edster or possibly Chucho, but Chucho is actually teleported back, but he's back now and he's full health and he is roaring to go, while Bad Sketchup is alone on bottom. He's got full health, but he's got to be careful. Here comes YOLO coming in. He tries to get the black hole, doesn't quite hit it, but here comes Pushkin trying to support, maybe land an ability or something in order to get the pull in, possibly try to secure a kill. Well, Bad Sketchup taking tons of damage from Na with the plant slams, doesn't even have both stages, only has one, and he goes down to the DOT from auto attack too. Absolutely nuts.
Yeah, I think that just proves how crazy Na is right now. Honestly, his burst damage combined with amp is just phenomenal. He's doing a lot of work, and then his sustain through Rotten Teeth and like the Lifesteal Teeth. He does a lot of work, and he's really hard to kill. And he will just be as much of a nuisance as possible until he gets tongued into the tower and finished off.
Absolutely, it looks like we've got YOLO. I was having some strange voice cutout issues, but it doesn't matter now, because we got Pushkin just clearing on top here, trying to get a potential push going, but YOLO's just going to clear that with his bicycle. Well, Bad Sketchup is pushing bottom here, just soaking up some damage from the turret, using the Black Hole Sun in order to clear these droids, while YOLO is just trying to defend here, but there's lots of damage coming out on this turret. While Bad Sketchup is trying to do tons of damage, he's going to maybe try and get that black hole. He's taking some DOT. He's at 300 health. He's a bit injured, but here comes Edster, the absolute monster that is Edster's Na. And it looks like he's trying to maybe get a kill. Gets the plant slam on Pushkin, gets another one. He's trying to get the health back. He doesn't hit it. Can't quite jump into it. He gets the pick on Leon, on Pushkin. Wow. It looks like it's just Bad Sketchup by himself trying to defend this top turret here from Team Aesthetic, while the bottom, or excuse me, the Solar Boss is going to go down in an instant, just immediately dead, while Edster here is just going to kill this turret. Just going to plant slam it to death, and boom, there it goes. He's actually got the amp damage on Baddest Ketchup. He's going to maybe go in, not quite. Might have been a smart play, but if he had gotten that kill, that would have helped a huge amount with this push, and they probably could have just rolled over the game.
Well, I don't think it's going to matter too much. In terms of EXP and towers and everything else, it's actually pretty even. This game could go either way, although I still think Naw is a bit of a monster, to be honest. You see that the Baddest Ketchup is actually going to be able to effectively lock him down. Esther is going to survive, and meanwhile Baddest Ketchup is going to actually die. That lifesteal was just enough.
What?
Wow.
I'm sorry, what? Edster got out of that alive, and Baddest Ketchup died?
Yeah, apparently so, because apparently lifesteal just barely allowed Naw to survive. That's,
I guess.
That's ridiculous.
Oh, well, YOLO's actually going to go down and make that a 1-for-1 finally. YOLO is going to go down to Pushkin with that nice pull. Oh, he's got the surprise attack on Edster, getting the pull for the silence. Yes, he does have silence. I've forgotten for a second. But there is Baby Curry Mammoth from both members of the red team, or Team Aesthetic.
Yep.
So that's going to help a lot against the silence. And I believe Black Hole? I'm not actually sure.
Sorry, did you see that Solar Boss go down in 2 seconds? Because it just went down.
I'm just kind of expecting it at this point. I just know it's going to happen because, you know, Edster's not, whatever, who cares. It can just melt Solar Boss in at light speed. You know, who cares?
That's like that's some really good objective control. Speaking of objective control, Naw with the maximum damage on the weeds now. Didn't even have full damage before. Can now melt things even faster. That's scary. And pills to keep him alive, just in case, you know, he gets down to a sliver HP again. Naw's scary. Naw is honestly very scary. Red team's going to look to push top tower, while blue team's going to look to push bottom tower. We look like we have ourselves a mirror, except that mirror includes YOLO being picked on by Pushkin. So he's in a bad position right now. His cooldown for dash is out, and it looks like Edster's barely on HP. Let's go survive. He's going to get out there and take the Solar Boss again. Oh, or maybe not. He's just going to bite and run. Bite and run.
It looked like Pushkin was trying to get that pull on YOLO because YOLO was still in a little bit, but YOLO's actually going to retreat, as is Pushkin. Going to get those creeps and get that extra bit of health. Looks like there's not too much going on. Sentry just jumping through, so now they know where Sentry is. But just some clear going on in order to get to the mid once again. But YOLO's going to get pulled by Leon and take a little bit of damage. YOLO, not much happening right now. But YOLO's actually going to take a ton of damage from Pushkin. I'm a liar, just tons of damage. But Pushkin is so hurt, he's getting chased by Edster, and Edster's going to get the kill. And Baddest Ketchup is actually also getting chased by Edster. YOLO needs to get that health and get in there to help his teammate. He doesn't have slow on spit, so he's not going to be able to just, you know, hit him with the spit and then just go in, but Baddest Ketchup is going to clear. But it looks like there's actually going to be a push on bottom here doing tons of damage, but here comes the Black Hole. No damage though, and it only hits Edster, not YOLO, but Edster's taking a ton of damage from the teleport frag, telefrag, whatever you want to call it. Baddest Ketchup taking a little bit of damage from the sticky bomb. YOLO trying to do something, but he's taking a little bit of damage from Black Hole, not quite. Oh, he gets out of the Black Hole. YOLO's got no health, and the sticky bomb's gonna get the kill. But now YOLO is gonna get killed by Pushkin because Pushkin just got back, and now it's just Edster and Pushkin. Now they're having a big old brawl up here. No abilities from Pushkin except for there's the pull. Just came back as soon as I was saying that, but here comes Edster. Isn't able to find a plant slime. He might try to kill the Solar Boss in order to just get some health back, but no, he's gonna get pulled by Pushkin again. Just taking tons of damage. Pushkin is not really, you know, relenting.
Seems like he wants to clear the droids mostly and wait for, well, Baddest Ketchup to come back. He needs Naw to be dead, and it's really hard to kill Naw. It's really, really hard to kill Naw. And the Black Hole would guarantee maybe like a half second of extra auto attacks, which would pretty much mean that he would die. So you can see
well, Naw's jump is actually, I feel like Naw's jump is kind of unique. It goes up very fast. It's kind of like how Ayla's jump feels a little different, where it's like it's got that much better air control. But Naw's jump goes up very fast, so it's a very sharp and quick jump with the same height similar to other Nauts, and it's not as much of a smooth up and down. And he's also got the insane movement speed, small hitbox, and the lifesteal, as well as pills. It's going to make him a very, very difficult thing to kill.
I would say so. Combine that fact with boots and Baby Cream Nav, meaning that Black Hole's really, at some points, it's irrelevant. If you can get a bite off while in the Black Hole, you can actually outrun the gravity of Black Hole, even in the center, which is, it's a little silly. It's a little silly for Sentry. See here that he's got a bite, doesn't get off because he's just in midair. and it's going back off. That light steel's going to keep him alive quite well. You know, Badass Ketchup taking a lot of damage, and Yellow's actually going to take the same amount of damage return from the Leon. It's just going to go in with the amp dot and really hurt. I think in this situation, I think Edster's really pulling his leg, and looking at damage values, he's almost got double the damage that actually Yellow has.
Yeah, I'm looking at this graph here. I'm gonna look at this graph here with the damage, and Naw is absolutely beating out everybody in the game, and is beating out his teammate like almost doubled, I believe, doing like 50, 60, maybe even 70% more damage. It's absolutely nuts how much damage Edster is doing right now. Just, you know, Naw is viable. Go play him is pretty much what I'm seeing from this. But either way, we've got Starstorm Statue coming out on Sentry, fresh buy. We've also got Silencing Pulse on Telefrag, able to get 2-second silence, very strong, but it looks like Edster's trying to chase Pushkin here. Not much coming from Baz. Ketchup's got a black hole, an uncharged black hole, but that can still trap the team and be very deadly. But it looks like nothing's going to happen. There's Edster. He's trying to get the black hole, but he misses it and whiffs it. But Pushkin's taking so much damage. Oh, he gets the health back just in time before the DOT is able to finish him off. But it looks like YOLO trying to do something. Doesn't hit the sticky bomb. Pushkin trying to get this, just trying to clear these things, but YOLO, ow, oh.
Yeah, that's brutal to watch.
Forget what I'm talking about, but yeah, Madiscap's just gonna get picked off by Edster, with Edster having like no health left. But Pushkin's gonna have to go back. They might try to push this bottom tower here and try to take it, with Leon getting a lot of upgrades, getting Surprise Party Mask and Pin It Noir, which gives him extra health regen while cloaked, and that's gonna help a lot with the DOT, as well as a little bit of extra damage when initiating, which it could help a lot.
Given that Null usually gets wiped by like a sliver, I think Surprise Party Mask is really nice. And the nice thing about Surprise Party Mask, at least currently in its development, is that it stacks with the auto attack damage upgrades, all of them. So each auto attack damage upgrade you get will work well, except in that situation where you get bursted instantly by Face Weeds and Amp. Not so fun. And the Solar Boss, yeah, it's there. Now it's gone. Red Team's really got control in the situation. I think it's their game to lose at this point.
Absolutely. I mean, Edster just has to look at something, and it dies. That's pretty much it at this point. The Solar Boss, dead. Droids, dead. Enemy with no abilities, or even just like one ability, dead. It's very hard to fight Edster right now. Edster's got some serious health, and it's just nuts.
Other than that, I think we're approaching the end of the game, because I can see the blue team's turrets are really hurting. They haven't been able to do any turret damage to the red team for quite a while. Black Hole whiffs and misses everyone, unfortunately. They're relegated to defending once again. Edster's grabbing more parts, and he will actually be able to push that top tower in a second. I think Yellow's actually going to chip it down with Bite, and there it goes. Now there's an open path to the core, and that's risky and dangerous.
Yeah, it looks like Edster's trying to rotate to the top lane while YOLO is contemplating teleporting. He finally commits to it. And now we've got base exposure for Team Aesthetic here. And the bottom tower actually only has about 2 bars, while both of the back turrets for Team Aesthetic is still live, or are still live. So it's a pretty big advantage here, because the base exposure is really important, and the fact that Team Aesthetic has it first, or I guess PewDiePie Fan Club, depending on how you look at it. But either way, we got Edster trying to hit something on Badass Ketchup here, but he's going to be able to get out of there. Just trying to clear these droids while Edster is harassing Pushkin, but it's going to do a ton of damage. It's not harassing, it's just straight up murderizing him. But he gets the health back, it doesn't get hit by that plant slam, and Edster's going to go down to the black hole. That was a pretty nice little that health pack really saved Pushkin, and he's able to get a nice pull near his tower. But it doesn't matter, because I think he's going to go down to the sticky bomb. That's it.
Yeah.
Sticky bomb's going to kill him, making it a 1-for-1. But this bottom tower still has like no health. It's looking really dangerous for Team PewDiePie Fan Club. But considering it's a 1v1 right now, and Edster is going to be back in time, it's going to be a bit of an advantage for Team Aesthetic. But Leon's going to be dropping right now, and Naw is already back though. If we look at these upgrades, he's got the DOT, he's got Bag of Seeds, so he can get 1 extra Weedling, so he's going to have 5 Weedlings. He's had slow for a little while as well, so Naw is pretty much at his peak right now. He is scary. Looks like Choo Choo's actually going to kill the Solar Boss instead of Naw now.
I'd agree. And now you've got Fertilizer on those weeds, so even if he's not focusing on weed damage, it's a really solid weed damage upgrade for spitting and then just having the weeds planted on top. It's honestly really brutal. It's really, really brutal. But that's just how it goes with Naw right now. We see Chucho's got the Time Slipper, a little bit of a late purchase in my opinion, which decreases the amount of cooldown they have to deal with. Oh, and the fantastic black hole to go out and kill off that Chucho. We have Esther is by himself, which might be the right situation for it. Now get off. Tug? Yes! The auto attack, finish him off. Now this is Blue's opportunity, their only opportunity to push the core and push the base. They have to get that bottom tower, otherwise they're in a really bad spot and they're going to have to wait for a really good opportunity. Red team is starting to spawn right now. Chucho's just dropping, and I'll be dropping in 5 seconds. This might be enough time to actually push the core down. We'll have to see. Chucho's going to land.
And it looks like Baddest Ketchup is pushing the score here as well as Pushkin, the entire team. Looks like the red team is just dropping down now. They're doing so much damage, but the core is at half health. YOLO throwing that sticky bomb, and the black hole's able to miss him, but it's taking so much damage and not isn't back yet. YOLO just gets melted! He just gets melted! And that is it. That's a win for Team Pewdiepie Fan Club. That's actually kind of amazing. I didn't expect them to win that. Like, I'm just processing it. Wow, they won that. That's amazing.
That just... the one good black hole, and the wipe on Edster. As soon as Edster went down, it's just like, okay, let's keep pushing. And then it's just, wow. That was a turnaround. A really, really big turnaround. I was expecting...
comeback of a century.
Honestly, I was expecting the red team to win that one, especially the core explosion, the amount of damage they had in the bottom turret there. It was almost down, but it just seems like blue team stuck together at the end there and was able to turn it around. And I'm honestly impressed because given the damage values, you see Esther has 277,000 compared to the about 200,000 of each of the blue team members. Chucho, on the other hand, has about 150,000. So I think Chucho shows that he could have been doing a little bit more. Not that I say doing bad or anything. It's just in terms of damage to knots and just damage overall, he might have opted for some other things. In a situation, maybe Pierce would have been a decent idea for droid pushing. He did go for Brawl on the auto attack, but I think it may have been a little bit too late on the Time Slipper. He might want to take that a little bit earlier in order to focus on that build completely and just kind of toss out stick bombs as much as possible.
Absolutely, but yeah, either way, that was a really nice comeback and a nice push from, well, Pushkin and Baddest Ketchup, Team Pewdiepie Fan Club. Well played by both of them, and that was a great match and a great watch.
And I think that's it for the set. I think they won their best 2 out of 3, is that right?
But
other than that, I have to say I'm surprised that Sentry was able to teleburst a little bit more than I thought he was going to be able to, given the fact that Nah had DOT, and actually had a really early Neon Mitral Muffler from Chucho, which is, again, DOT when you use your exhaust on your bike. So, like, there's a surprising amount of teleburst in the Silence and Pulse. Pretty impressive. Really
Silence Pulse is just incredibly strong, even with the Baby Green Mammoth. It's still a solid second, or not, excuse me, not a second, it would be about...
a second and third.
Yeah, second and third, 1.3 seconds of silence, which is very strong. It's quite useful. And just that much silence you can really initiate with the black hole if you get a nice telefrag. And really, I think that's just kind of what helped them get this last push here anyways, is just a nice black hole. And then they were able to push into the score and melt it fast enough to actually pretty much save the game. So very well played by Pewdiepie Fan Club, and I think we are getting ready to move on to the next match soon.
I would say so. So congratulations to Pewdiepie Fan Club for that great turnaround at the end. And we'll see you guys in a second, or rather, the next set. Grab yourself a drink, grab yourself a soda, go to the washroom, and we'll see you real soon.